of my project is Bittersweet. Hi, my name is April, and this is my story. It was March 12th, 1985. In Wheatland, California, a small farming community. I was working as a bartender at Bill's Place, a local bar and steakhouse, and I was closing up the bar for the night. Kenny, my boyfriend, was sitting at the bar having a beer and waiting for me so that we could go home. We had just had an emotional and tearful discussion about our relationship and where it was heading. I was planning on moving to Eugene, Oregon to attend college. Kenny was in the midst of a divorce and had 2 young daughters that he loved dearly, and he couldn't leave them behind and go with me to Eugene, at least not at the time. Because I needed some fresh air and some time alone to think, I decided to walk home after I closed the bar, and Kenny agreed to meet me back at the house. He hopped into his van and drove away. I, on the other hand, felt like running, so I took off at a gentle gait. The night was perfect for a midnight run, and I found great pleasure and release in running in the cool of the night. Unfortunately, this ended up being the last time I ran. When I got to the house, Kenny wasn't there yet, and the house was cold. So I walked over to the newly installed gas heater and went to turn on the thermostat. But it wasn't clicking on, so I bent down to check the pilot light, and it was out. I got a match, I lit the pilot light, and I stood up to turn on the thermostat. As soon as the thermostat lever hit the 60 degrees mark, I heard a big metal bending, crackling, glass shattering explosion, and the wall and the heater came blasting into me. The impact from the explosion threw me across the room and against the wall, and then a hide-a-bed couch flipped up and landed on top of me. I was trapped underneath the couch. Kenny had just walked in the door when the house exploded. The floor exploded up around his legs, up to his waist, and had him trapped. As debris started to settle, we could hear flames of fire igniting and growing larger. We both realized that we were trapped in the house and we were going to die as the flames started engulfing it. Thoughts of burning slowly to death and not being able to escape such suffering filled my mind, and the thought of Kenny going through the same suffering was too much to bear. This was an ultimate, horrific, and frightening situation to be in. Kenny was yelling out to me, "April." He was powerless to help me. We were both trapped without the ability to save each other or ourselves. I cried out to God. I didn't want to die this way. Please help us. Not like this, I begged. It seemed like an eternity when all of a sudden we heard voices coming from outside the house. It was our neighbors who had heard the explosion and came to see what had happened. 2 men, Ted and Doug, who were barefoot, grabbed some shoes from some onlookers that had heard the explosion and were there watching the house burn. They placed the shoes on their bare feet and ran into the burning house. Ted helped pull Kenny out of the house, and Doug tried lifting up the couch to pull me out from under it. But each time he lifted the couch, blue flames would come from around my head trying to engulf me. He was struggling to hold up the couch and pull me out from under it while keeping the flames from burning me. He had to keep hitting me on the head to put the flames out. He eventually succeeded in getting me out, but he said that someone else held the couch up while he pulled me out. To this day, we don't know who that person was who helped with the couch. Doug and Ted claimed that they saw figures standing in one of the bedroom doorways as they came in. I believe it was my guardian angel. They were able to drag us out of the house and drag us across the street and laid us out on the lawn. Immediately, the house exploded a second time. It was probably the water heater. We were not sure. As we laid there waiting for the paramedics to arrive, I glanced over at Kenny, and he was all black and charred looking. Later, he had told me the same thing. We both looked burnt. I thought my legs were on fire because they were burning so bad, but it was being conveyed that they were not on fire. Now I know it was the nerve pain from the broken vertebrae pressing on my spinal cord. Arrived, and we were rushed to the Rideout Memorial Hospital in Louisville. My x-ray showed that I had 4 shattered vertebrae in my back, and so they had me transported to UC Davis Medical Hospital in Sacramento via ambulance. They performed an 8-hour surgery. After fusing the vertebrae and installing 2 Harrington rods along my spine, I was told that I had a 50-50 chance of walking again, but they couldn't promise anything. I did not believe the doctors had the right to say that I was probably not going to walk again. I was going to walk, and I worked hard at it. My physical therapy was for 6 weeks, and then I was sent home in a wheelchair and all the medical supplies that I needed for this new lifestyle. I started off being paralyzed from my waist down and got returned feeling and function all the way down to my knees within 6 months. I did get fitted for braces and I did some gait training, but it was too difficult and I kept falling backwards and hurting myself more. I and the therapist decided it was safer and easier to use a wheelchair to get around. Kenny was stuck at Rideout Memorial Hospital for about a month. He was in traction with a broken femur and crushed bones in his feet. He only had a few burns on his face, but nothing serious. Although we talked on the phone every day, we couldn't wait to see each other. And as soon as he was released from Rideout Memorial Hospital, our close friends drove him up to me at UC Davis Medical Center. We had a good time, and my friends were there to support us. Unfortunately, me and Kenny only stayed together for about 2 years after the accident. We got caught up in partying and drinking, and we fought like crazy. We were also going through an ugly lawsuit. The injuries we suffered from this accident caused a lot of stress on our relationship. Although we had both survived this explosion and we received minimum burns, it was still very tough. We suffered severely from post-traumatic stress disorder. So the accident has not stopped me from living passionately despite the wheelchair. I met the father of my 4 sons. We moved to Humboldt County and lived on a remote 2 acres up in Maple Creek, California for 13 years, depending on solar, hydroelectric, generator for electrical power. We had natural spring gravity flow water and used wood heat. Unfortunately, the father eventually left us alone up on the hill, and I ran the place for a whole year without a man to help me. Before calling it quits, house with modern conveniences, sidewalks to skateboard on, and schools. It's exceptionally tough raising those 4 wild boys, but I did, and they are doing okay. While I was raising those boys as a single mom, I went to College of the Redwoods and I did my general education courses. Then I transferred to Cuesta College and earned an Associate of Science degree in library science through their online courses. I now live in the beautiful Patrick's Point Park area north of Trinidad, California. I have a wonderful part-time job at Red Lagoon School Library, and I love working with the kids. It is my passion. I still do all the things I love to do, although some are more challenging